ओम वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। ओम श्री महागणपतये नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम श्री मेधा दक्षिणामूर्ति स्वामिने नमः। ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। सच्चिदानंद रूपाय कृष्णाय कृष्णकारिणे नमो वेदांत वेद्याय गुरवे बुद्धिसाक्षिणे कृष्णद्वैपायनं व्यासं सर्वलोकहिते रतं वेदाब्ज भास्करं वन्दे शमाधिनिलयं मुनिं सहस्रमूर्ते पुरुषोत्तमस्य सहस्रनेत्राननपादबाहोः सहस्रनाम्नां स्तवनं प्रशस्तं निरुच्यते जन्मजरादिशान्त्यै। Namaste once again everybody.
Namaste Guruji. Namaskaram Guruji.
Pranam, namaskaram. By chance any of you have not marked your attendance, please go to the chat box and register your name. Thank you very much.
Namaskaram, Mama. Sri Guru Namaha.
Yeah. Namaskaram.
Namaste Guruji.
Namaste.
Namaste Guruji.
Namaste. Who is the Shankar raised his hand? Yes, Mr. Shankar, anything you want to say? There is a oh, it's gone. Okay. So we were seeing what
58, we have to say 58 mantra. Lohita, Lohitaksha.
Agrahya Shashvata Krishno Lohitaksha Pratardhanaha Prabhudastrika Gudhama Pavitram Mangalam Param. This is what we were seeing. And I think the last Nama we saw was Krishna. Am I right? We have Lohitaksha now, right?
Yes. We have to start Lohitaksha today.
Yeah.
We finished Krishna last week. I had marked it in my book. Yes.
Very good. So Lohitaksha, Adi Shankara says Lohite Akshini Yasya iti Lohitaksha. Very simple. Well, Lohita means red color. That saffron color is called Lohita in Sanskrit. Okay. And Akshini means the eyes. So the one who has got red colored eyes is the Ishvara, is Bhagavan. So his eyes are reddish in color. And this, we can see it in these Sandhya Vandana mantras also. When we do Madhyanam, those who know how to do the Madhyanam procedure, during the Madhyanam, after doing the Gayatri Japa, we go and see the sun. And with this kind of this mudra we have, those of you know, see the sun. The sun should not be directly seen. So with this mudra we see the sun. And there is one mantra which is chanted at that time. Ya udagat mahator navat vibrajamana sarirasya madhyat sama vrishabo lohitaksha Suryo Vipaschin Manasa Punhatu. This is the mantra we chant. So there again, in that mantra, Lohitaksha has used for sun. So here, the way we have to understand is that the sun and the moon, whenever they rise or set, there is this saffron color, the reddish color is there. And the sun and the moon are considered in the Shastras to be the eyes of Bhagavan, the two eyes of Bhagavan. Okay. So the Lord is manifest as our solar system itself, rather. As we have seen, of course, if we manifest as everything, solar system is included in that. Hence, the rising sun and the rising moon, which are red in color, are his eyes. So this is just a very poetic, comparison. So the idea is that be it night or day, the eyes of the Lord are always seen either as the sun or the moon. And during the day, the sun is the eyes of the Lord. During night, moon is the eyes of the Lord. Right? So, but they are nothing. Sun and moon are what? They are nothing but the manifestations of the Lord himself. And when we meditate, we can meditate the Lord in this form as the red-eyed Lord. So here this Lohitaksha is mainly a nama meant for upasana purposes, for the purposes of meditation. Okay. So the next is Pratardhanaha. Pratardhanaha literally means the destroyer, but in our context, we can take the meaning as the one who unmanifests the whole world. Okay. Pralaye bhutani pradardayati hinasti iti pratardhanaha, says Adi Shankara. So pralaye bhutani pradardayati. At the time of dissolution, at the time of pralaya, he completely resolves this entire jagat without leaving any trace of its existence. After the pralaya, if you see, you will be wondering whether such a jagat existed or not. He unmanifests the whole thing. And here we are talking about the Mahapralaya, which comes once after the end of every kalpa. So, because of that, he is known as Pratardhanaha. And as we know, as I already repeated, he does not destroy, he just unmanifests it, right? He unmanifests everything and resolves everything unto himself. It is like the Samadhi pose, Samadhi, what state. In fact, Parameshwara, Samadhi, all these three, the Jnatre, Jnata and Jnanam, all three are resolved into it. The knower, the knowledge, and also the known, the object, everything is resolved. Nothing remains. And that is called the Samadhi pose. The Samadhi of Yoga Shastra is that state where Jnatre, Jnanam and Jnata, Jnanam and Jnayam, all three are resolved. Okay. And Shiva is presented in that form in the Samadhi state. In many Puranas and all that we see that. But that Shiva is nothing but Vishnu alone. So functionally there is a difference between Shiva, Vishnu and Brahmaji. But all of them are what? Essentially by their nature they are Sachidananda Swarupaha only. All of them are same. They are all Vishnu only, Sarva Vyapi. Okay. So this is Pratardhanaha. These are all, some of these meanings will be repetitive. We have seen in different forms the same meanings earlier. Then Prabhutaha. Prabhutaha means the one who is abundantly endowed, right? Endowed with what? Some special qualities in abundance. Okay, that's Prabhuta. So Adi Shankara says, Jnaneshwaryadi gunaihi sampannaha Prabhutaha. So we have seen that again when we saw the definition of Bhagavan. What is the Bhaga definition? What is meant by Bhaga and what are all included in that Bhaga? There we saw that Ishvara is abundantly endowed with certain qualities. And what are those qualities? Jnana Aishwaryam Adi, says Adi Shankara. But what is that Adi, etc. includes? It includes Shakti, Bala, Virya, Yashas, Vairagya, Jnanam, Aishwarya. This is what we saw as Bhaga, right? The 6 qualities of Ishvara. So these are the gunas. The one who has got these gunas abundantly is Prabhutaha. So abundant means in absolute measure. It cannot be improved upon. What maximum can be there, it is there with him. And that's why he is called Bhagavan also. So Prabhutaha is another name for Bhagavan. You can take it. Right. Trikakubdhama. Dhama means an abode. So Trikakubdhama means the abode of 3 regions. Adi Shankara says, Urdhvam adho madhya bhedena tisrunam kakubhamapi dhameti tri kakubdhametyakam nama. So, tri kakubdhama is one word. Kakub means direction or region, and dhama means the abode, as I already told you. So the abode of 3 kakubs, 3 regions. And what are those 3 regions? They are urdhva, above, adha, below, madhyaha, in the middle. Thus, all 3 lokas, not the 7 upper lokas, starting from bhu, bhuvaha, suvaha and all, and the 7 down lokas, starting from Atala, Vitala, Patala and all that. So 14 lokas is covered in 3 kakubdhama in this word. So basically it means what is all pervasive, covers all the regions. And we can understand these 3 regions also in a slightly different way as 3 states of experiences. That is the higher celestial experiences, the lower animalistic experiences, or in the middle, the human experience. So 3 levels of experiences, we can take it also. He pervades all experiences. Without Ishvara, without Brahma, there can be no experience, because there is, for experience, sentiency is required. Consciousness is required, and that consciousness is the very Swarupa of that Brahman or Ishvara. So without him, there can be no state of experiences, because all experiences are due to him. He pervades all the experiences. So there can be no experience outside Ishvara. That is why he is called Tri Kakubdhama. Then the next one is Pavitram. Pavitram here, Adi Shankara takes it in a karmani usage. Pavitram, the one who purifies. Right? Yena punati yova punati rishir devata va tat pavitram. So 3 meanings he gives. Adi Shankara. So pavitra means, basically, pavitra means that which purifies. Pu dhatu. Pu is the dhatu and itra is the pratyaya, pavitra. Okay. So, yena punati tat pavitram. By whom a person gets free from all papa, that is pavitra. The one who purifies a person by removing all the papas, by remembering whom, by worshipping whom, and by relating to whom, people are freed from papa and they become pavitra. So he is called pavitra. And the mantra which purifies also is called a pavitra. When we actually finish the puja, when we do the pradakshina, what is the mantra we chant? Do you all know that?
Is it mantrahinam, kriyahinam, or?
No.
Yani kani cha
Recite that wholly.
Yani kani cha papani janmantara pradakshina.
Yani kani cha papani janmantara kritani cha. Whatever papas I have done throughout all the janmas, my past janmas, tani vinashyanti pradakshina pade pade. By remembering the Lord, by doing the pradakshinam, all the papas are destroyed. This is, of course, again glorification of the Lord. Now, ultimately, papa karma, punya karma will give the results. But all the small, what we call chillare papas can be destroyed by this. So every step that we take in a production, that is why when we go to the temple, elders tell us that when you go to the temple, you must do at least 3 pradakshinaams of the Lord. Because they are all said in the scriptures, and scriptures are the only source for knowledge for all these things. A person may ask, what will you get by doing this pradakshinam? What papa will go? So you can tell him that if you don't believe the scriptures, at least the excess weight that you have gained by eating all the junk food, which is itself is a papam, that weight will be reduced if you do the pradakshina. So that papa, at least you can get rid of that. Anyhow, this is just an aside rather. So that what is pavitram? Bhagavan's name is pavitram. Take Bhagavan's name, that itself is pavitram. Then he gives another meaning, yaha va punati rishihi devata va tat pavitram. The one who purifies, that is even a rishi or a devata, can also be called a pavitra. Because rishis also, by giving us the mantras, they can be called pavitra because they are mantra drishtara, mantra dhatara. They are the givers of mantras. They have seen that mantras and then they have given it to the humanity. So they also can be called pavitra. Devatas can be called pavitra. And here, of course, Ishvara, when we are talking about devata, the samashti power of this entire universe. All individual powers, which is represented by individual devatas, put them together is what? Ishvara. So, from a devata angle also, Ishvara can be called pavitram. And that is why Lord Vishnu is called pavitra. How does the Lord purify? What is the purification? Because when we in Vedanta, whenever we talk of purification, we talk of the purification of the mind. Isn't it? Chitta Shuddhi is what we talk about. Now, how does that Chitta Shuddhi take place? The thought which occurs in the mind, it does not have any capacity to purify. But when that thought is that of Ishvara, which is pervaded by the consciousness, and that we use that thought as for meditation purposes, always remembering Ishvara, Always remembering Ishvara means what? Always meditating on Ishvara's name. Let it be any name. Let it be Om Namah Shivaya. Let it be Krishna's name. Any name. Whenever you are taking that name with full awareness that I am taking Bhagavan's name, that thought itself is purifying. So what purifies the thought is not the thought itself, but the Bhagavan who is blessing the thought is the purifier. So he is Pavitram. Right? So he is called Pavitra. Then the last one, Mangalam Param. Mangalam Param, actually there are two words, but they can be they are taken as one here. Okay. Mangalam Param means the ultimate auspiciousness. Adi Shankara says, Ashubhani nirachaste tanoti shubhasantatim smriti matrena yat pumsam brahma tan mangalam viduhu. This is a quotation from Vishnu Purana, which Adi Shankara quotes. Iti Vishnu Purana Vachanat Kalyana Rupatvat Va Mangalam Param Sarva Bhutebhya Utkrishtam Brahma. This is what the commentary he says. So Ishvara or Bhagavan is in the form of ultimate auspiciousness. Ultimate means what? That which cannot be improved upon. You can't add anything more to that. And his smarana itself, his thought itself, remembering Ishvara itself makes one very pure. And this sloka from Vishnu Purana, what does it say? Yat, that which, smriti matrena, by merely remembering, pumsam ashubhani nirachaste, all the obstacles suffered, encountered by humans are removed, destroyed, dispelled. Shubha santatim tanoti. It increases the flow of auspiciousness. What? Yasya smarana matrena. We have seen. Yasya smarana matrena janma samsara bandhanat vimuchyate. We saw that earlier slokas, right? Tat Brahma Mangalam Viduhu. That Brahman is auspiciousness. That is what the Vishnu Purana says. So when we come to gaining knowledge, like scriptural knowledge, any obstacle which comes in the way of our gaining the knowledge is considered Ashubha. So here, Parameshwara as the Jagat Karana is called Brahma. So by merely remembering him, all auspiciousness flows in and all obstacles go away. Those who know the Shastra know him to be so. So that is why we start everything with a prayer. Every class we start with a prayer. Every class we end with a prayer. And behind the prayer is that Ishvara, that Bhagavan, who is ultimately Brahma. So as long as we continue to do that with all sincerity, with commitment, any obstacle which may come in our way will be taken away, will be removed, and we will be able to gain the knowledge, the purpose for which we are attending classes or satsangas and all these things. Okay. We have seen this idea by merely remembering all obstacles are removed, purification is done and all that. So what is important is remembering the Bhagavan every moment. And this is what Krishna is going to say in Bhagavad Gita also. In fact, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that a person who will remember me at the time of his death also, I will actually take him unto me. Let him do all the akramas during his lifetime. But at the time of death, if he remembers me, I will still give him Sharanagati. This is what Krishna says. Many people use this for justifying whatever they are doing. At the time of death, when I am about to die, I will say, hey Krishna, please save me. He will save me because he himself has said in Bhagavad Gita. But what they forget is, after one shloka, Krishna says, that is why Arjuna, always remember me. Because if you want to remember Bhagavan at the time of your death, it is not going to come from somewhere. You have to develop that vasana in you of remembering Bhagavan for all good things that happen to him and all unpleasant things that happen to him. While living, while going to sleep, while waking up, while eating, whatever you do in your life, always remember Bhagavan. If you do that, then at the time of death also, automatically you will remember Bhagavan. Otherwise, if you think, okay, at the time of death, I will remember Bhagavan, how do you know at what time death is coming? But Yamaraja sent you an email or a WhatsApp message, at so and so time I will come and take your life away. He won't do that. So what is important is Smaranam, remembering Bhagavan. At every sitting down, remember Bhagavan. Getting up, remember Bhagavan. That should be completely, remembering Bhagavan, Ishvara, Narayana. Any form you remember, ultimately you remember Bhagavan only. That is what is very, very important. If we have to have a good life, a life free of obstacles, and in fact, when we say life free of obstacles means what? All our success in our life, if you analyze the success we get, we always say because of Bhagavan's grace we get success. How does that grace act? That grace acts, first of all, by removing the obstacles for that success. And number two, placing us at the right place and at the right time for us to get that success. Automatically, this will happen rather. People who have done it, they experience this. So this is what is emphasized again and again and again in our Shastra. Keep remembering Bhagavan. At every step, take Bhagavan's name. Okay. So here Brahman is known as Mangala, as Brahman wards off all evils, because including the evil of rebirth, Brahman wards off. Once you know Brahman, once you understand what is Brahman and you actually internalize that understanding and abide in that understanding, your rebirth, which is one of the most, you can call it evil, because it puts us back into this earth to suffer, undergo all suffering for another 80, 90 years or whatever period we are to live. Subjecting ourselves to all sorts of accidents and all sorts of viruses, everything. We talk of freedom, but for last 1.5 years, we have all been caged in our houses. And we call ourselves free people. You have a free will. You have no free will. Where is your free will? If you want to do anything, you will have to, if you go out without your mask and all that, I'm using my free will, then you will know that you will be in jail. So all these things, again and again, happens because of rebirth. What is the way to avoid these problems? Don't have rebirth at all. There is only one way for that, moksha. And that moksha you can get only through this, through Bhagavan. By that Param Mangalam, the ultimate auspiciousness, right, which is moksha. So the knowledge of Parameshwara, abidance in the knowledge of Parameshwara releases one from this samsara bandhanam and gives one moksha, which is the ultimate end. And then of course Adi Shankara adds one last bit. He is Mangala due to his Kalyana Rupa, auspicious form, and he is Para Para means he says Sarva Bhutebhya Utkrishtaha. He is superior to all beings. So that is why he is Param Mangalam, two words taken as one. He is the most auspicious Ishvara, Vishnu, Bhagavan. I think we can take. Now we will go to the next sloka. Ishanah Pranadav Prano Jeshta Shrestha Prajapatihi Hiranya Garbho Bhugarbho Madhavo Madhusudhanaha. So here we have got 10 namas. Ishanaha, Pranadaha, Pranaha, Jeshtaha, Shreshtaha, Prajapatihi, Hiranyagarbhaha, Bhugarbhaha, Madhavaha, Madhusudhanaha. 10 all beautiful namas. Let us see them one by one. Ishanaha. Ishanaha, simple meaning the ruler of all beings. He is the supreme ruler, Ishvara. That's why the Isha means what? Ruling. Sarva Bhuta Niyantratvat Ishanaha, says Adi Shankara. He is Sarva Bhuta Niyanta. He is the ruler of all beings. Ishvara is the one who has got lordship. Aishwaryam is there in Purnam, that is complete in abundance with Ishvara. Aishwarya means lordship. Because any great country should have a great leader, isn't it? And that great leader should not only lead his country, he should be able to provide leadership to the world also. In fact, the current Indian leadership is actually moving towards that one. Not only providing leadership to the country, but also providing leadership to the world itself, rather. In terms of the vision, where should the world be taken to, from here, for all beings to be secure, safe, and protected. A person may be a great leader in a country, but what may not be there is Shilata. Shilata means what? How to explain? You may not have the necessary qualifications for that leadership. Any person who takes up any job should be qualified for that job, isn't it? And here, the Lord is not appointed by anybody, because he was there before the whole creation started itself. But at the same time, he has got Shilata. Shilata means getting used to it again and doing it again and again and again, right? All necessary qualification to rule all the beings, rather. And he is what? He is in the form of the law of karma. He is the order of the universe. Everything functions, all beings functions within the order, the cosmic order of Ishvara. And that is why he is called Ishanaha. The name Ishanaha indicates that. Okay. Then Pranadaha. Pranadaha, very interestingly, Adi Shankara takes two meanings which may sound very opposite to each other. And that is why it's a brilliance of Shankara. Because the dhatu is dha dhatu. I'll explain that. How he takes these two, both the opposite meanings, rather. So one meaning is the one who gives prana is pranadaha. Another meaning is the one who cuts the prana is pranadaha. Opposite meaning, one who is a giver, another who is a taker of prana. So Adi Shankara says, Pranam dadati cheshtayiti iti pranadaha. One meaning. Yadva Kalatmana pranan dhyati khandayati iti va. Pranan dayati shodayati iti va. Pranan dhati lunati iti va. 4 meanings it takes. For the dhatu dha has got 4 meanings. So each one he takes one meaning. In that meaning, how we can relate to Ishvara in that meaning, second meaning, third meaning, fourth meaning. We'll see one by one. Pranan dadati iti pranadaha. The Lord is pranada because he gives prana. He makes life possible. There is a mantra in Taittiriya Upanishad. Ko heva anyat kaf pranayat. So if this Atma were not there, the meaning of this mantra is, if this Atma had not been there, who would live and who would breathe? This is the Taittiriya Upanishad mantra. So Ishvara gives satta and spurti to all beings. And that is with the Maya Upadhi, of course. And he is in the form of the order, as I said, the cosmic order. So this breathing in and breathing out is also part of that order for the human being or all beings to live. So giving prana is also Ishvara's glory. Okay. Because between, as Puji Swamiji said, between breathing in and breathing out, there is every possibility that there may not be the next round, isn't it? Ultimately, the prana goes when this breathing thing stops. Your breath, you have taken a breath in, take it out, end of the story. Not again, second taking in, it's not possible. In that split nanosecond, the Atma has left your body and making it lifeless. Okay. So Ishvara is Pranadaha, the giver of breath and giver of life. Then the second meaning is as Pranan dhyati khandayati iti va pranadaha. Or else he is called Pranadaha because he cuts away the pranas, khandayati, cuts away the prana, detaches the life of a person in the form of kala. And that happens when the stipulated time is over. Every birth comes with an expiry period. In the medicines and all, maybe, after the expiry period also it may have some validity. But in the case of human life or any life on the earth which is driven by Ishvara, which Ishvara has got overlordship, that second it will go. Exact second, it will not be given even extension of one more second. Okay. So he detaches that life in the form, in the form of kala. So he is thus known as Pranan Dhyati, destroys the Shakti of the Indriyas whose activities indicates the existence of pranas. Because all the power that our Indriyas have got, prana, apana, udana, samana, vyana, all these, all powers through which our entire body functions. They are all called pancha pranas. And they are all dependent upon the main thing, which is a prana, which is breathing. And that we can actually see, experience as we grow older. When the pranas become weak, it is because our main prana is also becoming weak and weak and weak. Apakshiyate, it goes on weakening rather. So this prana, the one who actually cuts off this prana is also Ishvara only. So second meaning he has taken. Then the third meaning he says, Pranan dayati shodhayati iti pranadaha. He purifies and brightens the activities of the indriyas. As we said, he purifies. We have seen the meaning just now only. So shodhayati means the one who purifies the indriyas. By giving and taking the prana, giving the prana and taking it away, by giving prana, he purifies the indriyas. Our all circulatory system, respiratory system, everything. I mean, speaking in in terms of medically speaking, rather, we know that we take a breath in, hold the breath, then the lungs absorb the oxygen, and that improves all the systems. The oxygen is required for the entire body. This is medically speaking. But who makes it happen? The Ishvara makes it happen. Because the oxygen which is there in the air also is Ishvara. Air is also Ishvara. Everything is Ishvara. So by doing that, he actually purifies, makes our all these internal organs more and more efficient. So that is the third meaning. Is a shodhayati, purificator, purifies. And as I said, Adi Shankara uses these verbs in the language to 5 verbs in the language to interpret this word pranadaha. First is there is a dudanj dane is one verb. It is in the third conjugation. Sanskrit students will understand what I am saying. Then the second one is da dane, first conjugation, right? Bhuadi, in the meaning of given, giving. Okay. Then do avakhandane, in the fourth conjugation, in the meaning of cutting off. Then dap lavane, conjugation. Lavane also means cutting off. Then dyaip shodhane, shodhane means purification, purifying. So he brings out all these 4 meanings in this one pranadaha nama. So when we read the Bhashyam and all that, our own knowledge of the Sanskrit language also improves. That is the beauty of the Bhashyam. Not only the meaning, in what all meanings we can see this word pranadaha, this nama pranadaha, and then appreciate the glory of Ishvara, that everything that is there which is being done is all happening by the order of Ishvara only. It is Ishvara's order that the entire creation is made, sustained, and finally resolved also. That is the glory. And if we keep on appreciating this glory of Ishvara, that is remembering Ishvara only. Anything that we see in this entire creation, the moment we see it, we appreciate its beauty, appreciate its contribution to the life on this planet, or for that matter, life on the entire cosmos, wherever it is existing. We do not know where all life exists. There are only speculations. But wherever life exists, it is because of Ishvara only. If we have this thought in our mind, Ishvara will always be there in our mind. Any experience is Ishvara's experience only. Then there is no need for any separate meditation. You don't need to sit in one corner and then close your eyes and then think of Ishvara. Living meditation, you can breathe meditation. This is how we have to develop this kind of perspective towards the entire thing. And this Vishnu Sahasranamam is a very great means to do that. And when we understand the meanings, then we understand that everything, I mean, at the end of the 1000th Nama, we will hardly find anything which is not covered in this. In one way or the other, everything will be covered in this. Okay. So he was the giver of the prana. Now the next, he says, he is prana himself. Giver of the prana means what? He is prana, he is giver of the prana, he is taker of the prana. Everything relating to prana is Ishvara only. And here, Adi Shankara takes a slightly different meaning of prana, because already there prana means breathing he has taken. He says, praniti iti pranaha kshetranya paramatma va. So slightly different meaning. He takes the meaning of pranaha means the individual self or the limitless self, the paramatma. That is the meaning he takes. So earlier we saw as pranadaha, he gives prana to the jiva. Who is the jiva? Jiva is also praniti, is also prana only. Because with prana the jiva is sustained, so he is also prana only. By the jiva, by the activity of breathing, he makes the body active. For jivatma to be active, no prana is required. Jivatma is active on its own because it is the reflected consciousness. But the jivatma enables the breathing for the body, mind, sense complex to be active. So from that perspective, if you look at it, when we say pranaha, we can relate it to the jivatma also. As Ishvara, Paramatma is pranaha, jivatma is also pranaha, because there is no difference essentially between jivatma and paramatma. Both are one and the same. It is the reflection of the paramatma which is found in the jivatma. That's all. The difference is only on the upadhi, the adjunct, the medium of reflection. Other than that, so far as the source is concerned, the light is concerned, the prakasha of Atma is concerned, there is no difference. It is the same prakasha which is reflected in the jiva. The prakasha of Paramatma is reflected in the jivatma. That is how we have to understand. So here the jiva is referred to by Shankara as kshetranyaha. So kshetranyaha is vyashti prana, manifesting in the individual body, while hiranyagarbha is the samashti prana, manifesting in the total prana. Because all jivas are nothing but the individual representing the total. So Paramatma is the material cause. So hence he is prana, which we have seen. The subtle body. Prana is actually subtle. We can't, it's not gross like our physical body. So both at the individual level and at the total level, Ishvara alone is there, and both levels we can call Ishvara prana. And Keno Upanishad says, what is Ishvara? Pranasya pranaha, it says. He is the prana of all pranas. Ishvara of all beings. Okay. The one because of whom all the pranas work is pranasya pranaha, that is Ishvara Bhagavan. So this is pranadaha and pranaha. Then the next one is jeshtaha. Jeshtaha means simply the eldest. Okay. Vriddhatamo jeshtaha sarvakaranatva jeshtaha. So here the super jeshta is actually a superlative pratyaya is used. Tamaf pratyaya. It is called tamaf pratyaya. Taraf comparative, tamaf superlative. So you say vriddha taraha, vriddha tamaha. Tamaha is the superlative usage rather. So he is vriddha tamaha, means the eldest superlative, not elder, eldest of all. Why? Sarvasya karanatva. Because he is the cause of everything. As prana, he is Hiranyagarbha. He is eldest, and there cannot be anything older than him. Because we have already seen in the context of other slokas that the first one to manifest was Ishvara only. After that only the creation started, right? So he is the cause of all. So he is older than everything else in terms of time, because normally we will consider, older and all in terms of time. So he is the one first to appear, and that too when we don't know, beginningless times was there. So he is the oldest, Jeshtaha. Then Shreshtaha, the most praiseworthy. Again, Adi Shankara uses one more, superlative word. Prashasya tamaha Shreshtaha. Sarvatishayatvat va Shreshtaha. So there he said Sarva Karanatva, because he is the cause, he is the eldest, because the cause has to precede the effect. So he was Jeshtaha. Now Shreshtaha. Shreshtaha means the most praiseworthy, most exalted, most glorious. He excels in everything. All glories belong to him only. And these are words from Chandogya Upanishad. As prana is Shreshta and Jeshta, Chandogya Upanishad says. And the Rig Samhita says, he is Anadi Anida Avatam. Anida Avatam means he breathed even without air. Because we say Ishvara was the first to appear. Air, everything, space, air and all came after Ishvara. The question somebody will ask, what did Ishvara breathe? So he doesn't, that's what this Rig Samhita says, he doesn't need any air to breathe. In fact, he is the one who gives the air the power to, the power of, what can say, when people breathe, the power to make them alive, he gives that power to the air, right? So without air, he breathes. Because air, he only creates the air rather. So if he creates the air, how can he, breathe that air? So again, Shreshtaha brings back the Jeshtaha meaning also rather in this, right? Then he is Prajapatihi, the Lord of all beings. Ishwaratvena sarvasam prajanam patihi Prajapatihi. He is the Pati, Lord of all prajas. Okay. And Brahmaji is also known as Prajapati, because Brahmaji is known as the one who actually performed the job of creation on behalf of Ishvara. Ishvara delegated this creation job to Brahmaji. So he is known as creator. And he is also known as Brahmaji, right? All beings, right from a small blade of grass to the big planets, huge planets. We know about the planets which are there in the solar system, but there are bigger planets in other solar systems. Everything created by Ishvara. He is the Lord. And he is also the giver of the fruits of action. So that way also he is a Prajapatihi, meaning Pujya Swamiji takes this additional meaning. Even though here Adi Shankara doesn't talk about that, karma principle, Pujya Swamiji has taken that meaning additionally. He is the one, so he is Ishvara. Ishvara means the one who gives, the karma phalas. Okay. Then the next one, Hiranyagarbha. He is the Atma of Brahmaji. I just now told Brahmaji is called Hiranyagarbha, right? In the earlier one. So, Hiranmayandan I'm getting, this is a very complicated. Hiranyamayandan taha vartitvat Hiranyagarbha Brahma virinchihi tadatma Hiranyagarbha. And as I told you, Brahmaji is none other than Vishnu. These are all functional names given and forms. He is not separate from Vishnu. So he is the Atma of Hiranyagarbha. Right? And another meaning is also there. Hiranya also means gold. So here the knowledge is likened to gold. Jnanam is likened, or Vidya is likened to gold, which is ever shining. Knowledge once gained is gained and always shines. Bhrajate, vibhrajate. Since gold is ever shining, Hiranya is used to indicate knowledge. So Ishvara is what? All knowledge, consciousness principle, jnanam. So, and this whole universe is also in the form of knowledge only. So the one who, in whom this Hiranya, the world in the form of knowledge, like in a garbha, stays like in a garbha, like in a womb, is called Hiranya Garbha. So Ishvara is the one who has got all knowledge, and hence he is the Atma, the truth of even Hiranya Garbha. So two meanings we can derive. One is, compare the meaning which is Hiranya Garbha means Prajapati, Brahmaji. He is the Atma of Brahmaji also, obviously. He is the Atma of all beings, so he has got to be Atma of Brahmaji, one meaning. Another meaning is Hiranya means gold, and here gold is actually, the knowledge is compared to gold, because like gold shines and glitters, knowledge also shines and glitters. And since Ishvara is all knowledge, he can be called Hiranya Garbha. So that is Hiranya Garbha. I will just take one more, Bhu Garbha, and then we will stop. Okay. Bhu Garbha, the one with the earth in his womb. Bhuhu Garbhe Yasya Sa Bhu Garbha. Very simply, Adi Shankara says, he has Bhu, the earth, in his Garbha or womb. Hence, he is called Bhu Garbha. The earth basically is an Upalakshana for this entire cosmos. So we must understand, whenever we are talking about Bhu Garbha, earth is only earth, etc. when you say, which means etc. includes everything else other than earth. Earth is one of the objects indicated, right? So the whole cosmos is in him. So Bhu Garbha, we have to understand as the whole cosmos is in his womb. Bhu Garbha. And the word Bhu also can mean existence. Bhu Dhatu means existence. Bhu Sattaya. And existence is what? That's the reality. Therefore, he is Bhu Garbha, means he has the reality within himself. All the reality, subjective reality, objective reality, empirical reality, every reality, which all we give reality, we give reality to everything, is within him only. Everything is nothing but the reality of Ishvara. Whenever we say is, relating to any object in this world, that isness is coming from Ishvara alone. His satta, sat aspect of Ishvara is what is pervading. And that is why we use even in our language is. So this is nothing but Bhu, Bhu Dhatu, existence. So if we say something is existing, it means that Ishvara has pervaded that, and that is in Ishvara's Garbha. That is why he is Bhu Garbha. We'll stop here. I'll say the prayers, and then we'll have a satsang if there are any questions. Om Purnamadav Purnamidham Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mama.
Namaskaram,
Namaste,
Guruji.
Guruji.
Namaskaram. Yes.
Thank you, Guruji. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you very much,
Guruji.
all of you. Wish you.
Thank you, Guruji.
Guruji,
Yes, please.
whenever we finish a puja and give dakshina to the pandit,
Can you, 1 second, I will mute on so that only Krishnanji, you can unmute yourself. Yes.
So,
No.
whenever you give the dakshina post pujas to the pandit,
Uh-huh.
he use this hiranya garbha garbhastam. So what is the meaning there in that context?
See, I mean, I will have to actually look it up because, see, whatever dakshina we give, it is, please accept it as if it is, it is gold I am giving you. That's the very simple meaning I'm giving. But for your, this thing, I will check it up. What is the meaning of Hiranya Garbha Garbhastam Hema Bijam Vibhavaso
Vibhavasoho.
Ananta Punya
Punyam.
Paradam Atashantim Prayacha Me. So that we give. So I will just check it up, and next class I will clarify that. Well, I don't want to say something which I'm not sure about.
Since we are handling hiranya garbha here, and you said it is gold, so that's the reason why I asked this.
Correct. See, Hiranya Garbha, Garbhastam, that which stays in the Garbha, right? So Hiranya Garbha, if you can take it as, the one who has got gold in the womb, in the Garbha, and which stays in the Garbha. Garbhastham means Garbham Tishtati iti Garbhastha, right? So that's, I can tell you Sanskrit wise, but what is the implied meaning in that mantra? I will check it up and let you.
Okay. Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.
Thank
Just
you.
one small question, Guruji.
Yes, please.
You said about Pavitram.
Yeah.
Pavitram, which we wear Pavitram during the. How does that Pavitram relate to this Pavitram?
Because that Pavitram is worn for the purposes of purification of all that place where we are doing that, ritual. So this Pavitram, that grass which is used in the Pavitram, it is believed to have certain purificatory powers. So whenever we do any puja with Sankalpam, before the Sankalpam, we actually wear that Pavitram and do the Sankalpam. So it is, from my perspective, what I would say is, the moment we wear the Pavitram, and if we understand why we are wearing it for purification purposes, then our prayer in our mind is, oh Lord, I am going to do this ritual. Please help me that let it be done in a very pure manner, without anything coming and sort of spoiling the purity of it, making it impure. So this is the way, it's more of a symbol kind of a thing that you wear Pavitra. In fact, some of these this purohits, priests, they told me that, in fact, last year when I was doing this Tarpanam and all that, I didn't have a Pavitra because I exhausted all the Pavitram stock I had, but I didn't have. So he told me that you go and pick a grass and just put that grass in your hand. That will also serve the purpose, because what you put is not important. What is your attitude while putting is important. What is your prayer while putting, that is important. So the Pavitram, they have made it into a standard thing, all these people with certain way they make it rather, so that everybody uses the same standard, and the moment you see it, you understand what is it. It's a Pavitram. Pavitram means the one which purifies. Purifies what? With my hand, I am going to do so many karmas. I am going to offer flowers. I am going to do Naivedyam. Everything I am going to do. And we cannot offer anything to the Lord which is not pure. But we don't know whether they are pure or not. Isn't it? So what we do, we wear this Pavitram with the idea that let this Pavitram which is a purificator, purify everything that I am going to do in this particular puja or whatever it is. So that is the way we have to understand this, the function of that pavitram that we bear. Ultimately, as I say, Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavihi, Brahmana Hutam. Everything is Brahman only. The pavitram is Brahman, puja is Brahman. To whom puja is being done is Brahman. What material we use also is Brahman. Everything is Brahman. So when you come to that understanding, this pavitram and all don't matter at all, whether you wear it, don't wear it. In fact, I've also seen that some people, they recommend wear a tarjani, the gold or a silver tarjani. That also serves as a pavitram. So there are many forms of pavitram they use in different people, different pujas. But essentially, this is the purpose. We wear it for the purpose of purification of whatever we are going to do with our hand. That is how it is.
Thank you. Thank you.
In fact, there is one more way. I mean, in the topic of purification, let me just share one more information. We do pranayama, correct? We do pranayama, take the breath in and then leave the breath out. And then we are told, touch your right ear, Om, Om, Om. You know why? You don't know. Because it is said that when we breathe out, what is coming out is impure air. Correct? What we breathe in is pure. What we breathe out is impure, and that makes your hand impure. And it is believed in this, as per scriptures, Ganga is there in our right ears. The Ganges is there in right ears. So when you touch the right ear, you are purifying that hand by touching Ganga water. That is the symbolism for that. So there are so many beautiful things when you start understanding these things. There are a lot of beautiful things, they're all symbolisms only, but we must appreciate the implied purpose and implied meaning behind all these things. Unfortunately, in today's world, we have stopped going to all these gurukulams. We don't get all this knowledge from anybody, rather. Our parents have not taught us. It's only because of our, good luck that we come across some Mahatmas and all that, and we listen to their talks and we come to know about all these things. And once you know that, immediately, the thought of purity is always comes into various ways, comes into your mind. I need to be pure. I need to be pure. Why? I am Brahmasmi. Brahman is pure. I need to be pure. And this body, mind, sense complex is full of impurities only. It is full of impurities. But I need to keep them as pure as possible within the, my ability, rather. That is why taking bath and, we all the practices which our elders used to tell, don't do this, don't do that and all. Today, purity has got a very high, because corona impurity is attacking everybody. So wash your hands, do this, do that. When you come back from outside, take a bath. All this is now corona. For corona, they do it. This is exactly what 200, 300 years ago, our elders also used to do. So we used to make fun of them. When they go out, why should I take bath? But they were also, that's abundant caution they used to, have. So that you must remain pure. So many things are there. I mean, there are, we can talk about all these things a lot. Anyway, I think I have answered your questions regarding Pavitra.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other question, please?
When the pavitram is worn on the pranic finger or the ring finger, what is the significance of that?
Well, I mean, it's actually, this ring finger is, supposed to be. I mean, that's why the ring also is worn by the Christians in this. This is supposed to have a nerve which connects to the heart. This is the understanding. I mean, I've never asked this question, why in this ring finger, why can't be worn in any finger? But as I can just logically relate, the ring is also worn in that finger, because that finger is supposed to be having connection to the heart. So when we are actually doing, everything is ultimately heart means is not the physical heart we are talking about. It is connection to the Atma which is there in the heart. We have seen that in Vedanta classes, right? That Hridi Stitaha. That Atma is where to be found. For realization, we find that in the heart. So whenever we are doing this, we are wearing this Pavitram in the ring finger, that is connected to the Paramatma which is there within us. So from that angle also, the idea of purity can come in rather. Because Paramatma is pure, I am wearing this to lend purity. Let the Paramatma transfer that purity to this hand by my wearing this Pavitram, with which I will then do the puja to the same Paramatma. So we can interpret this, Vedanta is such a beautiful thing. You can interpret everything in a very logical way also. But for us, the prime source for all this knowledge is our Vedas, our scriptures.
Raghuji, it's one last question. When you're talking about,
Last from you or for the class?
I don't know, from me one question and it will be last from me. I can.
Okay.
But it is.
Joking.
Oh, I know. I please, I don't take anybody seriously
Yeah,
anyway,
please.
unless it's a studies, unless it's Vedanta. Jokes aside, I take it very like.
Yeah, yes, go ahead.
It's a ritual question. When you're talking about Pavitram, what I see, maybe they should. I see them more wearing for Pitru Karmas like Shardam and Tarpanam, but for the pujas, I don't see, even in the month, I don't see people. Is there any particular thing or one should wear, or they just don't happen to wear it?
No.
I'm seeing.
There is a difference. For Shraddha Karmas, the Pavitram is made from 3 blades of grass.
Okay.
For pujas, it is made from 2 blades of grass. This is the difference. First difference we must know.
Okay.
So whenever we are doing Deva Karma, it is 2 blades of grass Pavitram is used.
Okay.
And every puja, when you do, you should wear the Pavitram.
Okay.
It's a different thing that today we don't know how to make Pavitram. We don't get that grass also for making Pavitram. That is available only with the Purohits, the priests.
Yeah. And otherwise, in Giri traders,
whenever we call a priest to do a puja in our house, and the puja is to be done by us, then the priest will give the Pavitram to us. Otherwise, when we do the puja ourselves, what we will do, we will not wear any Pavitram because we don't have it. But
and also, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, Pitrikaryam, one must wear the Pavitram because Pitrikaryam is supposed to be more a more purificatory thing than the Devata Karyam. So there they insist you must wear a three pull Pavitram should be there.
Kusha grass. No, what I was saying was, women also, like when you do Varalakshmi Vratam, we do personally the puja. Like that is the one thing individually done by women. So, which I do, my family has taken. Does that mean women at that time wear Pavitram for doing to the puja? That's what I
see, because the puja, if you are not calling, normally, there is even from the priest's perspective, the women doing a puja on this Varalakshmi Vritam is not a part of the Vedic rituals which they consider.
Okay.
It is a puja which is being done by, because women, they also want to do something what men do. So you do Varalakshmi puja, they say. So there, because so many other things are there, this is wearing the Pavitram alone is not the purificatory thing.
Yes.
In fact, in all the pujas, they will actually, have one, this water in one
Kalasha.
Kalasham, and then do a Kalasha puja and do all this, this mantras they will chant for purification of that water. And that water is sprinkled on everybody, including all the puja dravyam, all the people who are present there. That is also purification only.
Yes.
Okay. So Pavamana Suktam and all this, they chant and then do the purification of that water rather. But when you look at the Varalakshmi puja, none of this is being done. There could be 2 reasons. Women don't need to be purified at all. They are very pure by themselves.
Oh, that makes us great. Thank you so much.
We we have that, Guruji, initially that collection, that water also, we tell that invoke all the rivers and purify it, and asana puja and all is there. Asana also is purified before starting.
So that is there. That means that purification is being
Yeah,
done.
yeah, like Gange Chemune Chaiva Asanam Puja. Yes, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Now, since the Pavitram topic came, I asked that part I was familiar. Since
But
Pavitram,
normally, even when the puja is being done by the husband and wife together, suppose we have called a priest. See, in our culture, whatever the husband does, the effect of that goes to the wife also.
50%, we get it. 50%.
50%. It goes to all punyas earned by the husband, 50% goes to the wife. All papas done by the husband stays with the husband. All papas done by the wife goes 50% to the husband. All
Yes.
punyas earned by the wife stays with the wife.
Yes, with
Which
that.
is the
Oh,
structure of our Shastra. Where is the equality in this?
yeah. And women call themselves as we are, inferior. I mean, we are not superior. I
Exactly.
think,
Our
I think we have-
Shastras actually put the women on a higher pedestal than the
oh,
men.
yes, I agree with you totally. Somewhere
And
in the line, they messed it.
one more thing.
Mhm.
Women, this question was asked, women don't have the punal, only men have punal. Why? Correct?
Yes. I
You
know.
know, olden days, I mean,
Women had Punal. In
Vedic
Puja,
times, women had punal.
yeah, Puja Swami, in one day, he told us that women, that Brahmavadinis, they all had Punal. Gargi
They
and all
had
had.
punals, correct?
Yes.
And what happens is, at the time of getting married, that punal of the women is transferred to the husband.
That's why
And that is why at the time of marriage,
three.
the 3 thread becomes 6 threads rather for the boy. What does that indicate? It is like a power of attorney being given by the woman to the man, saying that I give you power of attorney to perform all dharmic activities on my behalf. But the profit of all the dharmic activities, 50% should come to me. This is the Sankalpam. This is how our marriage in our culture is such an exalted thing, It's such a beautiful concept of marriage. People have no understanding of what marriage is now because of all this Western influence and all and corrupting it. Otherwise, it's such a beautiful thing. Marriage is not for creating children. Children are only, byproducts. Marriage is for sustaining dharma. That's why she's called Dharma Patni.
And it is the reason, one of the reasons don't understand, because everything is in Sanskritam. Nobody knows what Sanskritam language. I keep asking my husband, do you know what you all said? Because I looked at Puja Swamiji's book. He has published, like Viveka Karma, Paramathananda. I said, it's
All
funny.
these things are there. The more we understand, the more enlightened and more, happy we become, that such a beautiful, wonderful, lovely concepts are there in our culture. We fail to appreciate that.
And Puja Swami says it's a pilgrimage. It's pilgrimage taken by the...
Exactly.
Yes,
Marriage is a pilgrimage of 2 people together, creating, actually replicating Ishwara's job by creating more beings rather. And then sustaining this entire, whatever possible, sustaining the, the life around them. All that is a part of that, marriage vows which they take during marriage. So even this one, the women, the topic was how exalted women are. So that is the way we have treated women in our culture. We continue to treat like that. People who know all these things, we continue to treat women like that only, with lot of respect, as a partner rather. The Saptapati is what? Husband and wife are like friends rather. If you understand the Saptapati mantras, they are like this only. Let us be friends, be like friends at every step. Let us move together. That is the Saptapati mantras which we chant rather. Anyhow, these are all very large topics and lot of...
But thank you for the profound satsanga after the class. I really appreciate it. I do.
Whatever I know, I'm sharing it. what I have learned from Swami Paramathananda, Swami Dayanand Saraswati, or even Swami Sadatmananda and all that. I just share it, which is there in my mind. I share it. That's all.
Dhanyavadalu, Guruji. Dhanyavadalu.
Thank you.
Guruji, I have a question.
Yes,
This is Suleika. Just going back to the class today, you talked about Vishnu Sahasranama, the glories of Ishvara in the Saguna Brahman form. And you talked about prana in the context considered as breath or as life. Is this considered as sentiency or consciousness? Is this the formless principle of Chit?
No, prana is the power which the prana has got is given by the consciousness. So prana is also a guna. So it is saguna only. Okay. Whatever we can experience is all saguna. What we can experience is nirguna. So that way you can say, if we can experience breath, it is saguna. Okay. That is that's how we have to understand.
Thank you. And my second question is, you talked about the eldest and eldest being eldest in time. I think you mentioned kala in time and space. But then you also, I think, mentioned that Ishvara is beyond time and space. Am I understanding this correct?
Ishvara is beyond time and space because he precedes time and space. Time and space he has created. So that way he becomes, there's nobody elder than him. So he's the eldest. And also, this is one aspect of eldest. The other second one was Sreshta. In terms of, that's why in both the cases, Adi Shankara uses the superlative, pratyaya, rather, right? Tamah pratyaya. So, in terms of his glories also, there's nobody can be, having more glory than Ishvara. So, Sreshta means, basically in terms of his capability also, he is the eldest, rather. That's in terms of, one is in terms of time, another is in terms of his power. So you can interpret both the ways. So Sreshta also has got the meaning of Jeshta.
Thank you.
He has not taken it from anybody, isn't it? If somebody has been there before Ishvara, then he cannot be the eldest. If somebody is more powerful than Ishvara, then Ishvara cannot be Sreshta. So there is nobody other than him. That is the meaning. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions, please? So shall I close the session for today?
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes,
Hari Om.
Guruji. Thank
Thank
you,
you very
Guruji.
much, everybody.
Yep.
We'll see you next Sunday.
Thank you very much, Guruji.
Thank you.